Does Micro Four Thirds still have an edge over larger formats? Let's talk about it. Welcome back, it's Jimmy here. You've seen the title and I want to touch base on this very topic, when many, or I should say most, Micro Four Thirds users starting to have doubts, plus full framers and APS-C shooters continue to diss this small format. All because of the advancement of large sensor cameras and lenses. You see, when big boys like Canon and Nikon are moving mirrorless, everyone tries to adapt. I mean all 30-part lenses and accessory manufacturers, Tamron, Sigma, Tokina, Samyang, and many more. Sorry, I didn't mention Sony because they kind of started the whole full-frame mirrorless market, so they are already up there. Anyway, the advancements I mentioned apply to both camera body and lens designs, both external and internal. While the full-frame camera bodies are now approaching the size of a Micro Four Thirds camera, many will start to question one of the strengths of this very system: portability. Couple the fact that full-frame lenses are also getting smaller and lighter with clever use of plastic and smaller aperture, the overall system size is definitely getting close to what us Olympus and Panasonic users have been enjoying over the past decade. There is a catch, however. They're not even close to being equal because of trade-offs. And let me explain. First, cost. I often find it very difficult to convince people to think about the grace of the camera and not just by looking at their price tags. It's very easy to draw conclusions based on the numbers printed on those little tiny stickers. In reality though, all camera manufacturers, regardless of formats, separate their cameras with different grades: low, mid, and high, or pro grade. Low being cameras that are aimed for beginner level photographers and creators, and high that are aimed at those who rely on their gear to make a living. Each grade is designed and built differently. While features may look fairly similar, the high-end cameras often feature more rugged construction, metal chassis, and higher grade sensors and shutters, resulting in both higher speed operation, better reliability, and durability. Making things more durable and reliable costs money, but not something that general enthusiasts would appreciate or value. But like myself, I can't afford a failed camera in the middle of a shoot. And even with pro cameras, I often carry a second body, just in case. So to me, I would pay for reliability alone. You can buy a full-frame cameras for Micro Four Thirds price these days, but they are totally different grades. And don't get me wrong though, you can absolutely trust the low-grade full-frame cameras, but for me, I wouldn't, as my living money is depending on it. So if I have to get a pro-grade full-frame camera, it would cost 2, 3, or even 4 times of a pro-grade Micro Four Thirds body. And I haven't even mentioned about pro-grade lenses, which is more about pro-grade construction and reliability and not just about aperture sizes. All in all, if you compare system grades and not just price tags, Micro Four Thirds is and always will be cheaper. I'm not sure how deep your wallet is, but even for me making money, a wise businessman would try to lower the cost as much as possible without hurting the quality of the end product to the clients, and I can make as much money as possible. For amateurs, you can still enjoy photography or video making without thinking how to repay the loan for the giant purchase you just made. Photography and video making can be a fun hobby, but for those who lean on gear would more often find themselves overstressed by constantly chasing the best in the world and how to finance them. Olympus My Tiny wanted to make sure photography was affordable and accessible by anyone, and it is still true with OM or any Micro Four Thirds gear. Second, performance isn't as bad as it seems. Yes, technically larger sensor is always going to be better, and that's physics and you can't change or cheat it. Or can you? With today's AI softwares like DxO's Pure Raw. But anyway, technically you would not argue that Micro Four Thirds can achieve full frame performance at pixel levels. One of the biggest challenges is most photographers are convinced that larger formats will enhance their results and photography. Well, I wouldn't disagree with the better results from larger format, but it definitely won't enhance their photography. Unless you're a tech geek or a pixel peeper. Creating an image is more than just the technical perfection of a sensor. It's more about the process, the ability a photographer can see creatively, and of course the execution. If you're a genuine photographer, you enjoy the process of image making and not the making of a camera. To my eyes, anyone can create stunning photographs with any cameras from 2015. This video isn't to discourage anyone from buying new cameras, but only to raise the awareness of how one should view cameras as a tool more than a showpiece, or a confirmation of one's ability. Third, size. I already mentioned that larger format cameras are becoming smaller, to the point that they are as big as a high-grade Micro Four Thirds cameras. But there is a catch. One of the reasons why Olympus or OM has the best IBIS in the world is because there are more space inside the camera, allowing larger displacements to compensate movements in all directions. Full-frame cameras may have IBIS, but as many reviewers have tested, none of them can achieve what the EM1 Mark III can. If you still don't believe me, just look at this tiny Panasonic GM1, which isn't that much bigger than Sony's 1-inch sensor compact RX100. Of course, GM1 doesn't feature any IBIS, but don't forget GM1 is almost 9 years old. I'm sure if either Panasonic or OM tries, they can make something magical happen. Not that it can match the same performance as the flagship, but it can reclaim the title of being the most portable interchangeable system in the world. Ah, I haven't forgotten, Pentax did make a Q system that's even tinier with shake reduction, but the sensor was so tiny that I think today's smartphone can equal the end results. So, you can't have everything. There's always some compromises somewhere. If you want full-frame cameras with a Micro Four Thirds body size, you sacrifice poorer IBIS performance, risking overheating and breakdowns. And you can have much smaller Micro Four Thirds camera, just that you have to ditch the IBIS. So personally, I think we are complicating things ourselves most of the time, and we want everything, including kitchen sink, to be included in our next best camera. Just like first word Isaac Newton thought when he saw the apple fell from the tree. Why? I may be a Micro Four Thirds shooter, but I'm a photographer, a content creator, and I've shot films in various forms and sizes through my 16 years of career. And this video is made to explain there is no best or worst system. It's only to raise the awareness on some points that define the places of each format, and to highlight the trade-offs between them. It is still true that a skilled artist can create a masterpiece with the simplest and most basic tools. If old photography masters can create works that worth millions back in the days, when all they had were basic manual cameras, we can certainly do the same with any camera you can buy today. Remember, photography is fun, and can only be fun if you enjoy the process of making photographs. Peace. This guy is tiny. Yep, this will be my first retrospective episode. We haven't done the video yet, but then yeah, if you want to look what I'm going to say about this little guy here, stay tuned. And yeah, I'm mightily impressed with it. It really is a stunning camera. I really do hope either Panasonic or Olympus will make something like this again, just ultra tiny, just to showcase to the world how small Micro Four Thirds can be. Because seriously, you can put the 150 to 400 Pro into this body, and imagine that. It just looks ridiculous, right? But that's the whole point about Micro Four Thirds: portability and size. At the moment, they're not showcasing that at all. Yeah, they're just comparing it to like full-frame stuff. But like I said in this video, they are getting smaller. If to the ordinary people, they would not kind of get what I'd said. Because they don't know unless they watch this video, of course, but most people just wouldn't think like that. And so to prove that, you have to produce something so tiny that they say, wow, that is a tiny camera. Seriously, if you look at this, it's just as small as a RX100, which is a 1-inch sensor. And this is an interchangeable camera. I can change any Micro Four Thirds lenses on it. It's just going to look ridiculous, but yeah, crazy, right? Crazy. This is the world for you. I hope you enjoyed this particular video. I know you may already know most of the stuff I said, but I just want to make this video to remind a lot of the gearhead guys out there, and just try not to get too attached to numbers and specs. More about the process of making photographs, because that's the most enjoyable part of the photography, right? You know, what I said is basically true. And I think that even back in the old film days, a $50 camera compared to a 500 back in the days, you know, is not much difference there. And even in digital worlds these days, 500 DSLR or mirrorless cameras compared to the $5,000 version, it's not going to make much difference to a ordinary photographer. Yet it is more confirmation that you have a more expensive, bigger spec camera, but it's not going to make better photographs. That's what I'm trying to say. But anyway, you know, like, I hope you enjoy this, and the sun is definitely shining outside. I may pop out to stretch my legs a little bit and take some photographs, and I hope you do the same. Even if the weather is rubbish, go and stretch your legs. You know, it's always good for you, right? Just go out and, yeah, move your bones a little. And yeah, I think I need to do more of that because I put on so much weight during lockdown. But anyway, I will see you all next time. Remember to sub if you like why I'm doing this. Of course, do this. Thumb if you like this video, and also put on a sub button if you want to stay in touch with all things photography, filmmaking, and of course, OM system. Bye for now.